What's going on, guys? I'm 00 Photo, and again, welcome to my channel. I'm a videographer located in Oklahoma, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the Sony Fs7 and how it compares to the Sony's new lineup of the FX series. By the FX series, I mean the Fx3 and Fx6, because that's basically the only two cameras that I have from the FX series. The Fx9, I haven't shot with it, and I haven't gotten my hands on it, so I can't really speak about the camera, but I can tell about the two that I have. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So on this video, we're going to talk a little bit about the things that I like, the things that I hate about the Sony Fs7, and how they compare to the Sony Fx6. So the first thing we're going to talk about is these monitors. Sony, what is going on? It's 2023 and we're still getting subpar monitor from you. What I mean by that is how a $10,000 camera, because this thing when it first came out 10 years ago, it was $10,000, and the monitor that came with it is garbage, to say the least. You don't have false colors on this. You can barely judge your image with this thing. So it's an LCD screen, and it didn't get any better with the Sony Fx6 and Fx9. You still get this very same flimsy, unreliable monitor, and that's one of my biggest complaints about this camera, and you're probably gonna hear me rant about it over and over and over throughout this video. But who cares anyway? Hopefully Sony sees it or they hear about it and someone decides to do something. Sony is well known for their amazing screens, their amazing computers, screens, their amazing TVs, and yet when it comes to their cameras, they always cheap us out when it comes to these things. The Sony Fx6 is a $6,000 camera, but yet it comes with a $500 monitor. I don't even think this thing is worth $500. It's probably like $90, because nowadays you can get an external monitor for $120 or $150 that's got false colors, that's got focus picking, that's got zebras, that's got basically everything, every single focus aid to allow you to get the most out of your camera and utilize your camera to its most potential. So to me, it's a little disappointing to end up with something like this. Number two, the base plate on these things, or should I say the bottom of these cameras, is just so confusing to me. This thing is not light. The Sony Fs7 is not light, because I'm telling you right now, this thing is not rigged. It's just a bare minimum camera, and it weighs the same as my Sony Fx6, fully rigged with the V-mount battery and all of that. They literally weigh the same. I put them on a scale and they weigh the same. It's just insane. Number three, Sony, what is it with these modules? Is it just that because you guys are trying to make some extra money, so you're just gonna charge us extra? Because I'm not gonna complain because I have the Sony Fx9, but when I bought this camera, my Sony Fs7, I bought it used, because I bought it was in great shape. It's still in great shape. When I got it, it didn't come with the XQDM module, so you basically cannot shoot RAW out of the camera. And since Sony cameras somehow do not shoot internal RAW, which is another complaint of myself, how does a Blackmagic camera, which is a $2,500 camera, have the capability to shoot internal RAW? But a $10,000 camera, a camera that's nearly 5 times its price, cannot do that. Isn't it funny? But anyway, to me, those things basically just make the Sony ecosystem hard to move into. I know a lot of friends, a lot of people that shoot Canon, that shoot Red, that shoot Blackmagic, that would like to move into the Sony ecosystem. They're just a little hesitant because Sony likes to hold back on us. I mean, yeah, we get amazing autofocus, we get amazing stabilization, but they do lack a lot of features. Something like 6K. Most cameras nowadays, just they offer 6K, and I know I never shoot 6K. It's never been a big deal to me. Why? Because I've never had a client for the last 6 years that I've been doing this job that requested delivery in 6K. It's always most of my clients in the country require me or ask me to lower the resolution to 1080. So it's 6K is overkill for me, but it doesn't hurt to have. I mean, it's an asset, but I would definitely rather have a better screen than 6K, because 6K doesn't really make a difference to me. I really don't care about 6K much. But the base of these cameras, it's like this is supposed to be a shoulder mounted camera. How do you even put this on your shoulder like this? So you definitely have to rig this camera in order to make it functional. Otherwise it's just nah, it's not happening. So this XQDA module, in order to get it, if you're buying a brand new, this thing still costs about $2,000 almost. Now you can get it used. The cheapest you can get it is probably $600, which is not cheap. After spending, now the camera, you can probably get it used for $4,000, but that's $5,000 just to buy a used camera and not even be able to shoot RAW out of it. But if you buy the Fx6, the Fx6 will offer you ProRes RAW easily, or even Cinema DNG if you so choose. And the good thing about it is that yes, you do have to buy a monitor in order to get that, but you don't have to buy anything extra, any modules to make the camera even bigger. So you still have the option to keep the camera as small as possible and make it as portable and flexible to shoot a different environment. So that's one of the main reasons why I moved to the Sony Fx6, because I just got tired of this thing. After I bought this XQDA module, it just made the camera so big, and I just kind of lost interest of shooting with it, because I just like the compactness of the Fx6, that I can just lift it and basically go shoot anything and anywhere. But other than that, this camera is amazing. It's lovely. Don't let anything that I say hold you from getting the camera. If you're just getting it to shoot actual work, you don't care about RAW, you don't care about time code, you don't care about any of those things, hey, go for it. It's an amazing camera. But for me, I upgraded to the Fx6 one for the autofocus. Reason being is because I'm a solo shooter, so I highly rely on autofocus, especially when I'm shooting commercials or I'm shooting interviews, because again, it's just one person sitting there. I'm using autofocus right now, and I have both my Fx3 and my Fx6 shooting. Look at that. Doesn't that look awesome? I know it does. Red guys, you don't even have to pretend. I know you're jealous. So yeah, but that was my main reason. And the low light capability on the Fx6, that thing is just mind-blowing. So having the Fx3 and the Fx6, and I've been a Sony shooter my entire life, pretty much my entire videographer life, it just makes things easier, because every single lens that I have is an E-mount lens, which, well, I have the Sigma, but then I had to get an adapter to adapt it to my Sony Fs7. But everything else that I use is E-mount, and it just saves me from the hassle of having to spend extra money to buy, you know, extra lenses or get rid of my lenses, which we all know that every single time you trade things in, it costs you more, because you lose money on those items. So that's basically the end of the video right here. Again, I'm from Oklahoma. If you're from Oklahoma right now, I'm trying to get a little networking group so we can get together and talk about videography, talk about work, talk about how we can collaborate, how we can help each other at times. So yeah, hit me up. I would love to hear from you. Please leave me your comments down there if you've shot with this bad boy before, and if you haven't, I'm gonna start renting mine out. It comes with 2 XQDA cards, the monitor, the module, they call it, I think they call it extension module. So the extension module, and yeah, it's ready to shoot. It's always gonna come with a Canon 24-105 and a Sigma 35 18-35 and a Metabones adapter. So yeah, it's not great at autofocus, but you can basically do anything else with this amazing camera. This thing is a killer. So yeah, let me know what you think down there, and I can't wait to hear from you and send those comments out. Until tomorrow, do not forget to subscribe. You thought I almost forgot, huh? No, I did not. So let's talk later. Thank you very much.